Hey guys, it's Vanessa and welcome back to my channel. I'm back this week with another What's for Dinner, where I show you what I feed my blended family of 6 from Sunday to Thursday.
Tempted by your smile, I was tempted.
So go on and grab a coffee and let's make dinner. Sunday was a beautiful day for steak and potatoes on the barbecue. Let's take a look at all the ingredients that went into making this meal. Here I have 2 beautiful strip loin steaks for $11, kicking my butt for not getting more. Ignore those cans, they didn't make the cut. I have some Diana barbecue sauce, which is one of my favorites. I have some homemade beans that I had made a while back and took out of the freezer. I figured it's a barbecue. I also have some tomato and cucumbers for a side. And to season up some of the potatoes, I'm gonna go ahead and use the organic no salt seasoning, some paprika, and I have these little mixed gems that I bought on my last grocery haul. I love those. We're also gonna cook up some onions and peppers in some foil. Also have this tasty little spice mix that I have, garlic salt, some olive oil, and hot dogs because, well, Belle's not interested in the steak, so I try to accommodate a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and prep the potatoes as they take the longest. It's awesome in these little gem sizes because they cut in half and they roast perfectly. I just wanted to take a quick second to let you guys know, if you don't want to miss any of my videos, be sure that you're subscribed and that you've clicked on the bell, and you'll get a notification every time I post.
No one ever changes,
I should mention quickly, I'm just using a disposable aluminum tray from the dollar store. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and drizzle on some olive oil, and I break up about 2 tablespoons of butter and spread it over top. I probably should have did this next because I still have to add my seasonings and combine it all, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm also just gonna add some garlic salt, just some straight up ground black pepper, and also some paprika. I'm just gonna go ahead and cover this with aluminum foil. You could just wrap these in foil on their own. I just prefer to use a tray because the potatoes are a little more substantial and heavier. All right, so next I just happen to have a green pepper in the fridge, so we're just rolling with it. I just cut it into small cubes and then I'll throw it in its own little aluminum foil packet. And of course, we can't barbecue without having some sliced onions on the grill. I'm just cutting them into half moon shapes, and then I will put these into their own little aluminum foil packet as well. Now, for the onions, I didn't plan it very well. There was still a little bit of a escape route for them, so I went ahead and make a little lid so that he can also check to see if they're done as well. Same thing with the green peppers, he just has to lift it up. And by he, I mean Jamie, because I do not do the barbecuing. Here, I'm just gonna go ahead and season up my steaks with straight up salt and pepper. I'll do the one side, flip them, and do the other side. So here I am flipping them over, and of course I need to go wash my hands before I touch the salt again. Now, I had bought these skewers on my last grocery haul thinking that I might make some kebabs this week. That did not pan out, but I also had some fruit and some Cool Whip in the fridge, so I thought, why not make a little dessert? These were actually an amazing treat.
Oh, it's cold though, my God.
Freezing, eh?
I need to put this in the garage.
I was gonna down low over there, those are just quickly going on. That's down up there, steaks quickly going down. Potatoes are in there. Probably good, huh?
Yeah, I think they're good. Go eat supper? Is that being good?
So here's Belle's hot dog with ketchup and a ginger ale. She was actually really pumped about it. Barbecue's exciting no matter what it is. So we have cucumbers, tomatoes, green peppers and onions on a beautifully barbecued steak and delicious tender potatoes. This was supper for Sunday night and we were ecstatic. Now for Monday, similar meal. We had pork chops with gravy and air fried potatoes. First up, I have these fast fried pork loin chops that I bought at my last grocery haul. I was super pumped to find these for like $3 a pack. Awesome price. I'm just going to season them with salt and pepper and fry them up in a frying pan. I also have some carrots that I'm going to make up with some brown sugar, some honey, maple syrup, not cloves. I don't know why that's there. It should be nutmeg. So nutmeg and cinnamon. They are amazing, you guys. If you haven't tried them before, I've shown them in my What's for Dinners. Please, please try them, especially if your kids won't eat vegetables, if you don't mind adding sugar to them. I'm also going to open up a can of waxed beans, and I have another bag of these little mini potatoes, only this time we're going to use my Ninja Foodie to air crisp them. Amazing. I do this all the time, especially for breakfast, and a couple cans of gravy on the side. So I was in a predicament here, guys. Basically, my knife was in the dishwasher and there was no stopping the dishwasher at the cycle it was at. So I have my paring knife, and let me tell you, it was really hard to chop up this carrot. I don't know how you guys are doing it out there without a proper chef's knife. Kudos to you. Also, I've said it before, I like to cut them up kind of rustically, and I don't peel them. I just give them a good wash. It really doesn't make a difference, and honestly, I think it adds to them. And here we go, we're getting back into the potatoes, and I'm using a teeny tiny little paring knife again. Again, I don't know how you guys do it. Like I said, this time it's a little different, but I am just going with the straight up slicing them in half.
I'll stay steady and I won't slow.
Now you can try and be dainty and proper and use a fork or spoon, but I'm just using my hands because frankly it's the best utensil that God has given us. I'm going to go ahead and add some garlic salt to these, just some straight up ground black pepper, some paprika, and some onion powder. Then I'm going to go in again with my best utensils and mix that all up.
Oh, tell me that it's gonna be just fine. See, I don't know where time is gonna take me, so I'm just gonna take my time.
My Foodie has been preheating for about 5 minutes on high. I'm going to set it to air crisp, and these take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes depending on how tender you want them to be. Keeping it classy once again, I am combining 2 jars of canned gravy. One is chicken and one is beef. I know, don't knock it. Watch it when it combines. I swear it transformed into pork gravy, if that's even possible. But don't knock it. Seriously, give it a try. It was actually really good. And my favorite, canned waxed beans. Do you guys heat these up? I like them cold in the fridge. I know, that's so weird. Here I am seasoning up my meat. Again, I know it kind of is a repeat of the steak, but I just straight up hit it with salt and pepper, put it in a pan with hot oil, fry them up a few minutes on each side. They are delicious. For my carrots, I don't have any measurements. I kind of eyeball it depending on how sweet you want them and how many carrots you're cooking. Probably a couple tablespoons of brown sugar, about a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, I'd say, and a good squirt of honey. Is that pretty precise? That's about as precise as I can get. Now, like most of our suppers, we eat buffet style, so here's everything laid out. I am telling you, looking at this again is making me want a pork chop. We were super happy with it. Even Jamie ate his carrots. Wicked awesome supper for a Monday night. All right, Tuesday was shake and bake chicken legs and loaded potato wedges. I ended up deciding to make a salad since we had some stuff in the fridge, just lettuce, celery, cucumbers, and tomato. super good. Glad I made that decision because we had some left for the next day. I also have these chicken legs that I got for a super good deal, $4.22. I'm gonna just use a straight up pack of the extra crispy shake and bake. I have a can of corn niblets. I also have these russet potatoes, which I like to buy in these pre-packaged packages, mainly because I know that they're going to be the right size to make the wedges up the way I like to. So I'm also going to add some cheese, sour cream, and onions if anybody wants to load them up. So just a note to anybody who buys these and just straight up puts them on your barbecue, please don't. They need to be washed because I noticed that when I unwrapped it. So all I do is I slice it in half, then I slice that part in half, and then I kind of go on a diagonal and create little triangles. I'm going to show you here in an up close.
One slow suicide while one just takes and takes. One choice.
Now, obviously, this is where a very sharp and hardy knife comes into play. If you have something flimsy, you're going to have a bigger chance of cutting yourself versus when you have a nice, sharp, sturdy knife. Now, if you don't have these big russet potatoes, by all means, you could just do this with any straight up white or red potatoes. They'll just obviously be smaller wedges. But I'm telling you right now, Jamie even said, he's like, this is it. This is your new thing. Loaded potato wedges. Who knew? I knew. I saw it on Pinterest. So even after washing them the first time, there was still a lot of dirt on my cutting board from that. So I went ahead and gave them a really good rinse before I moved on to the next step and made sure to dry them off or they will not roast nicely. Again, more olive oil and potatoes. I feel like this episode is all about showing you different ways to cook potatoes. So you're welcome. I'm going to go ahead and season them. I added some organic no salt seasoning, garlic salt, some pepper, and also some of this chicken and rib seasoning from the keg. I do give it a light toss with a couple forks in this bowl just because it was kind of awkward with my hands. And then you'll see I'm going to dump it out onto the baking sheet where I was able to kind of separate and make sure that they're all going to be exposed to the heat. Now, I cooked these and the chicken at the same temperature, 425. They did take quite a while, like 40 minutes, but I think it's mainly because I used the top half of my oven and put both trays in there and a lot of the heat got lost. So lessons learned for next time. Now, I am 38 years old and one of my favorite things is still shake and bake chicken. Honestly, why wouldn't you? I always take the few crumbs that are left at the bottom of the bag and sprinkle them on top of my chicken. Now here we go. I'm going to throw it in the oven, like I said, at 425. I do have a double oven. Next time I will separate and put one tray into the bottom. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place. Otherwise, what's the point of having a double oven? So here I am. I'm just going to chop up all of my lettuce. I don't like to rip it up. I like to chop it into bite-sized pieces, especially where I know the kids are going to be eating this. I'm just going to go ahead and add tomato, cucumbers, celery, and what I didn't show you at the beginning was I did manage to find some green pepper in my fridge, so I'm going to go ahead and add that in there as well. You know, they say that you eat with your eyes. Well, this is definitely a picture where you eat with your eyes. I had to include it because frankly, I thought it was beautiful. All I'm doing here is just chopping up my green onions so that we can have it if anybody wants to make loaded potatoes. And the same with the cheese. I am using an old cheddar. I just find that's so much better when you're cooking or eating it on savory foods. Now, if this looks familiar, it's because it's the gravy from last night. I just wanted to heat it up so that if anybody wanted that on their wedges, it was an option. All right, our chicken legs cooked up to literal perfection. I always use a meat thermometer when I'm cooking chicken. I'm not gonna get cocky. These were amazing. I had mine loaded potato style. It was delicious. I kind of wish I would have had a little bit of hot sauce, but you know what? We made do. A little French dressing on my salad and a heart for my tomato. All right, supper on Wednesday was comfort goulash. This worked out because I had some pasta to use up, so I'm using this entire box of macaroni. Also gonna add an onion and a can of mushrooms, my favorite pasta jar, pasta sauce, the sweet basil marinara. I didn't end up using that can of tomato sauce, so ignore that. I have a large, about 28 or 30 ounce can of diced tomatoes from Kirkland, some chicken stock, the remainder of this Italian seasoning, and some basil and oregano on the side because I didn't have quite enough, some garlic, bay leaves, and about 2 pounds of ground beef in a very deep skillet. So step 1, get your meat cooking.
You look at me like I'm crazy.
All right, so once this is on and cooking, you're gonna go ahead and dice up your onion. And I decided to slow this part down, well, not go quite as fast as I normally do, and just show you guys a little trick on how to dice your onion. I'm sure you've seen it before if you've watched the Food Network, but I thought I'd show you here again. Now, after about 5 or 10 minutes, when your meat is about halfway cooked, go ahead and add your onions, your mushroom, and about a tablespoon of garlic. Mix that all up till it's combined, and then you're going to go ahead and add in your Italian seasonings.
The reason why we stay. We fly around like paper planes, they never know.
At this point, you're going to want to add all of your sauces and your liquids to get that to a boiling point before you add your pasta. So add the entire jar of marinara sauce or tomato sauce, whatever you have on hand. Also, your big can of tomatoes with the juice, about a cup of chicken stock, and then I just filled that tomato or pasta sauce jar up again with water and added that as well. I'm going to go ahead and put another good amount of basil and oregano and 2 bay leaves. Now, once that comes up to a roaring simmer or just barely a boil, go ahead and add in all of your pasta. Now, I realize that my skillet is very full, but don't worry, it will not get any fuller than this. All of the pasta is going to absorb all of that liquid. I'm going to go ahead and put a lid on it and keep checking on it periodically so that it's not burning to the bottom of your pan and nothing is spinning or overflowing. But just look at this, guys. I'm not even kidding. I have some of this in the fridge, and when I'm done this voiceover, I'm going to heat some up. It is so good. It is literal comfort on a plate. This was supper for Wednesday night.
Not to be like this.
All right, Thursday night was tourtiere or meat pie from St. Hubert's. I feel like I'm kind of ripping you guys off here, but it's a frozen meal. This is reality. This is real life. This is what I fed my family because we were starving. We wanted something good. So 1 hour in the oven at 350. If you've never had a meat pie or a tourtiere, please try it. And yes, I am a child and I always eat my meat pie with ketchup. And of course, if you know me, I served it with beets. How could I not? It was so good, you guys. And there you have it, another What's for Dinner in the books. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you try any of these ideas, please leave a comment down below and let me know. And I will talk to you guys in my next video.